Mark had always believed in foundations. As a civil engineer, he spent his days ensuring structures stood firm, unmoved by storms or time. At home, he believed he'd built something just as sturdy. His 22-year marriage to Laura. She was the woman he met in college, the nurse who stayed up with him through late-night exam crams, who whispered dreams into his ear about a life filled with purpose, partnership, and family. Their life had rhythm. Coffee at 6:45 a.m., goodbye kisses by 7, text check-ins by noon. Weekends were reserved for farmers markets, home projects, and quiet dinners with their now-adult children. From the outside, they were admired, envied even. Mark and Laura still holding hands at church, still planning anniversary getaways, still calling each other babe in public. The kind of couple people believed had figured it all out. But lately, the rhythm had faltered. It started subtly. Laura's shifts at the hospital grew longer. When Mark asked about the extra hours, she shrugged it off. We're understaffed again. The first few times, he didn't question it. Healthcare was demanding, he understood that. But soon it wasn't just the hours. It was her mood. Distant. Distracted. Her smile didn't reach her eyes anymore. She'd scroll through her phone in silence during dinner, excuse herself for sudden calls, and retreat early to bed with a lock screen turned face down on the nightstand. Mark noticed, but he told himself not to spiral. After all, every long marriage has dry spells. Moments of disconnect. They'd weathered worse. Job losses, the terrifying night their son broke his collarbone. The years when money was tight and sleep even tighter. But they'd always come out stronger. This time, though, it felt different. He tried to bridge the growing space between them. He scheduled a weekend in Asheville, just the two of them, wine tastings, hiking trails, a cabin with no Wi-Fi. Laura smiled when he proposed it, but said she couldn't get the time off. Maybe another time, she said absently, her eyes already drifting back to her phone. One night, Mark caught her typing rapidly, then smiling faintly at the screen. When he walked into the room, she quickly locked it. Something heavy settled in his chest. He didn't ask. He didn't accuse. Not yet. Instead, he stood in the doorway of their bedroom and watched the woman he thought he knew better than anyone. A woman who had once promised him forever now felt like a stranger beneath the same roof. A voice inside him whispered what he didn't want to hear. Something was wrong. And whatever it wasn't just long shifts or burnout. The foundation was shifting. Cracks were forming. And this time, Mark wasn't sure it could be patched. The silence between Mark and Laura became its own language. In the mornings, their conversations were reduced to functional exchanges. Don't forget your lunch. There's milk in the fridge. I'll be home late.
No affection.
No eye contact. Just the hum of routine barely holding their marriage together. Mark wanted to believe it was a phase. That they'd reconnect once things calmed down at the hospital. That maybe he was overthinking everything. But doubt, once planted, grows like ivy, slow, persistent, and quietly destructive. One evening, after another solitary dinner, Mark opened his laptop and clicked on a message notification. Amanda. A name from a simpler time. His high school friend, now recently divorced and living 3 states away. Her message was brief but warm. Saw your name pop up in a mutual group. Can't believe it's been over 20 years. They started talking. First casually, then more often. Amanda was witty, grounded, and easy to talk to. She asked how his kids were doing. He asked about her garden, her new rescue dog, her adjusting to life post-divorce. Their conversations became nightly rituals, sharing thoughts they hadn't voiced to anyone else in years. Mark never touched her, never crossed that final line. But emotionally, he felt something stir. A comfort, a space to breathe. With Amanda, he didn't feel like a ghost in his own marriage. He felt seen. One night, Amanda hesitated before typing. I know this might sound strange, but is your wife Laura a nurse at Rosehaven Hospital? Mark paused. Yeah, why? Amanda sighed. A friend of mine works there. She mentioned something off. Said your wife's been seen a lot with a doctor named Ethan. Not like casual coworkers. Like something more. The words hit Mark like cold water. Ethan. The name meant nothing to him. Yet somehow it told him everything. He wanted to laugh it off. Dismiss it as a misunderstanding. But deep down, the puzzle pieces had already started snapping together. The late nights. The secrecy. The vanishing affection. All of it aligned too perfectly. Amanda immediately regretted saying anything, but Mark thanked her. He wasn't angry, just hollow. A man on the edge of realizing his life might not be what he thought it was. Later that night, Laura came home past midnight, smelling of unfamiliar cologne masked beneath citrus soap. She kissed Mark on the forehead, muttered a tired excuse about a double shift, and slipped into the bathroom without a second glance. Mark stared at the bedroom ceiling, unmoving. His wife was hiding something, and now so was he. Mark had never imagined himself scrolling through his wife's messages. But that night, as Laura slept soundly beside him, her phone dimly buzzing with another alert, something inside him cracked. The quiet trust that had once formed the bedrock of their marriage was now buried beneath suspicion and silence. His hands trembled as he unlocked her phone. He knew the passcode, though she'd changed it twice in recent months. She never imagined he'd try. The screen lit up. And there it was. A string of texts from me. The name alone made his pulse race. He tapped it open. Can't stop thinking about last night. Your skin still on my lips. Same time tomorrow? Each message was a punch to the gut. Photos. Late night jokes. Emojis that hadn't graced Mark's screen in years. Affection. Intimate, warm, reckless. Meant for someone else. He didn't cry. Didn't scream. Instead, he sat there in the dim glow of betrayal, numb. This wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate. Ongoing. Carefully concealed. And it wasn't just the affair that hurt, it was how easy she made it look. The next morning, Laura brewed coffee like nothing had changed. She kissed his cheek absently like muscle memory. But Mark saw through it now, the gestures, the tone, the lies layered so casually they almost felt real. He said nothing. Instead, he gathered evidence. Quietly. Methodically. Screenshots. Time logs. He even installed a small tracking device in her car. Something he never thought he'd be capable of. But this wasn't about jealousy anymore. It was about knowing. About reclaiming the truth. Within days, the pieces fit neatly into place. Laura wasn't just having an affair. She was planning an exit. She had met with a realtor. Looked into apartments near the hospital. A shared email revealed discussions about future plans with Ethan. Mark was being phased out like an outdated appliance. But here's the part no one saw coming. Amanda, Mark's old friend, the one who'd quietly re-entered his life, confessed something unexpected. I think my ex was seeing someone too. A nurse. At Rosehaven. Around the same time. Mark's heart stopped. His name was Ethan. The silence that followed was heavy with recognition. Their lives, once separate, were now woven through shared betrayal. Mark felt the shift then, not just anger but clarity. This wasn't about Laura leaving him. It was about her underestimating him, believing he'd stay blind, passive, quiet. But Mark wasn't a man who let structures collapse. He reinforced them or he demolished them completely. And now he had a plan. Laura never suspected a thing. She went about her days wrapped in the illusion of control, laughing at Ethan's jokes in break rooms, texting him while Mark grilled dinner for the kids, slipping out with rehearsed excuses and an airtight sense of confidence. Mark let her believe it. Because the trap was already set. He'd copied the emails, saved the texts, compiled a digital folder labeled, "For Clarity." But the real moment of reckoning came through an unexpected ally, Amanda. After their mutual realization, Amanda had quietly reconnected with her ex, under the guise of closure. In truth, she was fishing. And what she caught was gold. A shared vacation plan between Laura and Ethan, booked 2 months in advance, under pseudonyms but paid from a traceable card. Mark had everything. And yet, he waited. He watched Laura make dinner as if nothing were fractured. Watched her help their daughter with homework, playfully nag their son about screen time, even laugh at one of Mark's jokes, an odd, almost nostalgic sound. But it was hollow now. Mark wasn't watching a wife. He was watching a performance. The next day he scheduled a family dinner, something they hadn't done in months. Laura raised an eyebrow but agreed, sensing perhaps an opportunity to smooth whatever tension still lingered. She even dressed up, wore perfume, smiled too widely. Mark's smile was quieter, controlled. Halfway through the meal he cleared his throat. "There's something I want to share." He placed a small envelope on the table. Laura blinked. Slowly she reached for it, her fingers suddenly unsure. Inside, printed screenshots, hotel confirmations, messages, Even a selfie of her and Ethan, one she hadn't realized Ethan had taken, reflected in a restaurant window. Laura's face drained of color. The silence at the table was deafening. Their daughter looked confused. Their son froze mid-bite. Mark turned to them gently. I want you both to know this isn't your fault, but there are things happening between your mother and me that need to be addressed honestly. Laura's lip trembled. Mark, he held up a hand. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to finish what you already started. Later that night, after the kids were asleep, Mark handed Laura a separate envelope, divorce papers.
No shouting. No threats.
Just calm, measured consequence. You didn't just cheat on me, Laura. You erased us. So now I'm returning the favor. She stood there speechless, the reality crashing into her in slow, agonizing waves. Everything she thought she was controlling was already gone. Outside, Mark exhaled under the porch light, the night quiet and still, and somewhere miles away, Amanda opened a message from Mark. It's done. End.